Hello everyone, Zelrant here, and today I thought I'd talk about the 2.5 year anniversary for Nikke. Now I've completed a majority of the content. Now there's some stuff that needs to unlock with like the hard mode as well as the hard difficulty of the minigame, but I think there's enough here for me to kind of give my thoughts overall on it, especially seeing as I've just started playing the game about a month ago. So this is my first experience with the 2.5 anniversary with it, and I will say it is, like, I am hugely impressed by the amount of stuff that came with this. This is probably the biggest event in a gacha game that I've played. Now, I've only started playing gacha games again, like, 2 years ago when HSR came out, and I played a couple of the others, like ZZZ, Wuthering Waves, Sword of Convalaria, Ash Echoes, and a couple others. And this has by far been the one that's, like, my absolute favorite in terms of the amount of stuff they gave out during it. Now, it's kind of crazy on the amount of polls was kind of the big thing. I mean, they already have what I would consider a fairly good poll rate. Now, I understand that the Pilgrims have a 1% rate versus a 50-50, but the 4% is still really, really good, because even when you poll a lost 50-50, you're pulling from the entire pool of a majority of the Nikkes in the game, and the amount of polls that they've given on the half anniversary to me is really good, especially even if you're a free-to-play player, because it really gives you the opportunity to save for future units, especially if you're able to skip some here. And this is just the half anniversary. I know we also have the anniversary as well as the New Year's, where they're going to give similar amounts of polls, and it really gives you that opportunity to really pick which units you want to target. And then with the pity system already being good with that golden mileage tickets, you can also save up for the more harder or more important characters to use for that. And so it's definitely been one of my favorite events in a gacha game in terms of the poll currency you get. And then when it comes to the actual story, now I've watched all the other anniversary stories as well at this point, from earlier in the game, and then going through this one. And this one feels like it's not as good as, say, Red Ash was, the Rappy Red Hood one, as well as Lost Kingdom, but I still say it's really, really good, and I really liked it. I definitely felt a little bit, I liked the more Rappy Red Hood and Red Hood storyline, I think, a little bit more than, say, the Old Tales and Cinderella one. Now, Old Tales was really good as well. That's another one there. Overall, kind of a depressing story there. I will say one thing I really like about this one is that, and this is kind of, I wouldn't say if this is really spoilers or not, but you might want to skip past this if I haven't finished the story, but it ends more on a happy ending versus a lot of the other ones. That were kind of more depressing in sense. Now, a lot of the other ones were take place in, like, the past, where, yeah, I mean, you know it's going to be depressing in the past because pretty much everything failed leading up to where the world's at in its current world state. Well, this event with Siren was a present day one, and it kind of went, this one kind of on the timeline went alongside kind of the chapters we currently are in the game. And so I do really like having it, like, just be an overall happier one. Lost Kingdom was kind of similar in that case, where it kind of had that general happy ending, although it kind of had its cliffhanger at the end there that really hasn't been explored yet in the game, and we'll probably see that here in the future. But yeah, overall, the story was still really good. It's definitely not my favorite of all the other ones I watched, so it's kind of sucks that I didn't get to participate in the other ones as the actual content other than just watching all the videos. But it was overall really good. I do like that they have, like, the whole anime ending to it, because it seems like they do that for every single one of the anniversaries, and kind of getting that, like, I definitely think they could do an anime adaptation of this entire universe, like, because I'm finding the Nikke universe is kind of similar. I like it in the same level that I like the Girls Frontline universe, other than just the fact that there's not as much of it there yet, because it's a new IP, while Girls Frontline has had their IP around for quite a while to expand on. But yeah, that's overall pretty good. And then the other big thing would be, I say, the minigame as well. And overall on that, when we actually kind of look at it, just so you can kind of see where I've gotten into it, I really, really like the minigame. It's like a full-fledged game. That's something that someone may pay, like, $5, $10 on, or maybe even more, on like Steam or something. Because it's an overall pretty good game. especially the challenge mode. Now, I think there could be ways they could expand on it, make it a little better, because eventually in the challenge mode, you're going to hit a brick wall that's going to be you're unable to surpass simply because you're just out-leveled by the enemies. But I've actually done it to the point that I've actually pushed basically to the first kind of hard wall. Now, I know you can get a little bit farther, as you can see with this person, now that we've unlocked more stuff on normal, which I plan to push farther. But overall, I think this is one of the better mini-games that I've played in a gacha game, because a lot of times they're very, very simple in them, while they're still really good. Like, I really like the Vampire Survivors mini-game, for example, in Girls Frontline 2, but it is kind of really dumbed down compared to, like, actual Vampire Survivors. Or, like, the Nikke mode they have in Girls Frontline or Snowbreak, that, while it's fun, it's not even close to the level that, like, actual Nikke is in its fights. But this is, like, its own full-fledged tower defense game that, yeah, it doesn't have all the stuff that you can expect in another one, but it is really good for what it is. All kinds of different ways that you can upgrade your stuff. So I haven't played any of the other mini games that I know exist in the arcade and stuff, so I need to go ahead and try them now that I've kind of got to the end game of the Nikke, where I'm really at my hard wall on hard mode and all that. So I'll kind of have to see how the other ones, because everybody says all the mini games in Nikke have been really good. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the minigame as well. I think it is top-notch, and I'm excited to see what we get with some of the other big ones, especially like the collaborations, because I was told the Dave the Diver one was a really, really good one they've done in the past. So any of those types that come in the future, I'm really excited to play as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The rewards overall, and not just the polls. I mentioned the polls, but all the other rewards, and this seemed to be something they mentioned in the live stream as well, as they noted that resources are really thin overall in the game, and they did come out with a crap ton. Now I started this game with a crap ton, as I inherited the account with a lot of resources already, but I've blown through a lot of them, kind of building up my characters now. But like when you see this like road to hero villain one, the amount of resources in here is quite insane. And I've heard that from a lot of other people, that this is quite a bit compared to what they had gotten in the past. Like, this is basically all the resources needed to completely build her up with her treasure and all that. But I know a lot of people are just not going to do that. They're just going to hoard these resources for another meta unit that may need them in the future. Which, I mean, it kind of sucks, because the whole purpose is to give you all the stuff to build her, but everybody's saving these resources for somebody else that's going to be meta in the future, in the same way that Helm currently is meta when she got her treasure. But it is overall pretty good, and they've just been throwing resources everywhere else. You have the daily ones, like just the small ones, the daily ones that are giving you a bunch of resources, the doubling on the burst event. I mean, it's just like non-stop rewards. So overall, I think this has been a really good event, and I'm actually excited for the future ones that come up, especially the anniversary of New Year's, because this is only the half anniversary. And yeah, I'm ready to see what we have for the next anniversary, especially with the direction the story's going. I'm expecting the next one to be pretty crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.